we're here. We're gaming. We're talking about gaming or whatnot.
Yes.
This week brought to you by Dollar Shave Club and Lynda.com. I did it in the right order. Look, Dollar Shave Club, Lynda.com.
Trying to do this like with the monitors. It's like,
Patrick yelled something, but I didn't hear it.
What is it?
Lynda.com/the patch. We haven't gotten to the ad read yet. I'm just talking to you. It's brought to you by Lynda.com.
Oh, wow.
God, man.
We're 30 seconds in and fighting with the
I've already messed it up.
I think Patrick heard you say you needed new people for the patch, and he's angling for his being included in the patch.
Anybody ready to step up
He's
on
ready to
stage?
be a
Come on,
star.
bring it. Well, as always, we're here to talk about gaming. Today I'm joined by...
Ashley.
I'm Meg.
Wow.
Dr. Pepper
I
song.
almost drowned you in a Dr. Pepper to make that introduction. And Ryan, and I guess the spirit of Gus.
And
Gus.
We've left that off a few times.
It is always with you, and also with you.
Whenever we say the spirit of Gus, I always want to be like, spirit
Yeah,
of
I know,
Gus.
that's
What's
right.
the-
We lift up our hearts. We lift
It
it
wouldn't
up
be
to
a
the
cross.
Gus.
I don't know. What would a Gus be?
I don't know. Gus
Like
would
a
just be like an
G?
apathetic
It's like a Gus,
lean.
Gus, and Gus.
It was
Is
like-
that the way that works?
You're still doing the cross, though, is what we're saying. What shape would his thing
Oh,
You're right. Gus is
I think
very
it's like
lazy.
being
It may just be kind of like a...
Like, you'd start to cross yourself, and you'd be like, meh, fuck it. And
Whatever.
that's how we salute each other in public.
you know, let's go play SingStar.
You just pour one out for your homies. That's it.
Oh, yeah, this is the Gus pose. Like, doesn't he SingStar? Was it this way? How to use SingStar.
Well, unfortunately, it was kind of a light news week for games, but we did get... If this was screenplay, we'd be in great shape because there's Star Wars trailers and Batman
So is it a movie
trailers.
podcast now?
It might be. We'll see what we run out of. But we did at least get a Battlefront trailer,
Yes.
Yes.
which
And
looked
the
very
Foon
pretty.
House guys broke it down for us.
House.
Foon House.
Foon House.
It was a really big Star Wars week in general.
It was.
It was almost like a giant Star Wars
Celebration.
celebration. Thank you. Blaine enjoyed my joke.
Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Well, he was the only one that went. So.
Yeah, we should.
Yes,
Just
we should
him.
interview him for Blaine's Star Wars celebration. It's just Blaine in his apartment, wishing he was there.
Dressed up like Han Solo. I know you got the costume. I've seen it.
Blaine.
does,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that little
Of
shy
course.
peek.
Well, there have been some details, though, that kind of leaked alongside the trailer, which people aren't necessarily that happy about.
Tell me more. I'm
Okay.
honestly a little bit out of the loop. Like I've been like keeping up sort of, but it's patchy.
All right.
Because I
Hey, I see what you did there.
because I was overseas and the time zones are all
Brag
off.
about
and
it.
so, yeah,
look, I was in
you know,
France.
look, I was absorbing culture and snails.
Were you, like, tracking down the actual locations from Valiant Hearts? Because that would be an acceptable use of...
That would have been the best idea
You
ever.
could have found things on the ground and, like,
literally-
learned about
To
them.
be fair, when that. Okay, let's see what we learned playing Valiant Hearts. Was it mostly northern France?
It's
Yeah, 'cause
eastern.
Because I wasn't there.
Like,
Very east. It was right along the
yeah,
front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
I
the
wasn't
front.
there. That would
The front happened to be on the front. All right.
That
Well-
would have been a long drive, and you know, like war's the thing, but that would have been inconvenient. So I just ate cheese.
Every time I texted her, I was like, cheese? Cheese?
So much cheese.
When you picked up a new cheese, did you get, like, a breakdown of the historical significance of that cheese?
No, I
Oh,
ate it.
well, that's
I
very-
took the cheese and I put it in my mouth.
Took it away from the...
Well,
And then-
I heard a polka band last night. I think it was like a polka band or something. It sounded just
Tell
like
us more
Valiant
about how
Hearts.
you ran into a polka
No,
band.
it was near the Central Market. They had like live
There's just
music
a
or
polka-
something.
all right.
I don't know, but it sounded like the Valiant Hearts music, and I wanted to steal a wine bottle because there's always a band near where you need to steal a wine bottle.
Were you going to blow on it? Like,
No, I was gonna throw it at somebody to distract them.
Do you ever go through phases where you just listen to game soundtracks like,
No.
constantly?
Yes, and speaking of game soundtracks, the Journey soundtrack is going to be
Double
on
vinyl.
There's some game
Double
news.
vinyl.
Double vinyl?
Yeah.
It's like
Do you-
double rainbow. But
Do you have to
on
play it on 2 record players? What do you mean double vinyl?
I think
What does that
I think
mean?
it's
Not
just it's
simultaneous.
you know it's like a,
I
it's
don't
like,
know what that means.
Think
What's
of it like
double
a 2-disc
vinyl?
set,
Yeah.
but like a 2 vinyl set.
Oh.
Like you have to have ready go.
You have to have turntables and you mix it yourself and go wicka wicka wicka
That
the
could
whole
be
time.
a thing, right? Like there could be harmonics. You could have. I mean, it'd be a little complicated to start. Maybe you have a switch that you're giving me a look like I'm talking crazy, but hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Just think of the harmonies.
That you could make a
Vinyl
scratching-
harmonies that you couldn't just get on one disc. There's too much harmony for one disc.
Oh,
You
you're
gotta
saying
have
if
2
you
discs
play them both at the same time.
simultaneously. Yeah. Then you offset the just a little. Then you got reverb.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
No, I mean the harmonies sound great. I feel like it'd be a lot of
ready, set, drop it.
Yeah, I feel
Drop
like
the
that's how
beat.
you ruin a marriage, is trying to get 2 people to try to do the same time. We're doing on 3. On 3.
God damn it, I need to see
it's all
Counselor.
On 3. God, you never
Worse
do
than-
anything I say.
Worse than playing Flock.
I love how you thought you and Bernie were like, oh yeah, they're gonna hate each other. And me and Gavin were like, oh thank you. Oh.
Like we started off that way too.
Yeah.
Like by the time you get to the night levels and like the wolves, I started that game and I was like, look at the sheep, everything's great. I get to the end and I was like, I just want to be done. I just want to be done. Like
I want to be done. I don't want to see you again.
Like this is over.
I think Gavin and I could do it because we put together IKEA furniture, and without fail, I was the one who screwed it up every time. I'd always have the instructions and be like, it says do this, and I was always wrong.
Well, that's the problem with IKEA. It doesn't say anything.
That's
It's a
true.
very subjective process. It's like,
together-
here is a picture of a cabinet. You could be building the cabinet. Here's a door. The door may go on the cabinet.
We don't know. We don't use words.
You need
Yeah.
4 of these and 4 of those. I won't tell you the size.
They look, yeah, we won't tell you relative to one another what they are. No, yeah, but when we built by ourselves, everything was fine. Together, there's always something backwards.
Oh yeah,
Always. And it's always my fault.
Anyway, relevant. Go ahead.
I always wonder like what other games are like really good relationship building or
Portal co-op.
testing exercises.
Portal co-op for sure.
Oh,
Portal Co-op's
yeah.
Portal Co-op is a tough one.
Yeah. That's how you ruin it.
You get those ones where you have to be like flying through the air,
Right, and
And
do
like, you
it
have
at
to
the
like
same
launch
time.
it and then land in it and then shoot out another. No,
No.
No.
Ashley says no. Don't
say
build your
no.
relationship
Yeah, I
by
say
a portal.
no. Portal's bad for marriage.
you can test it, but you're not building anything there.
Well, then, I mean, maybe that's like it's an endurance trial. Like, can you survive Portal? Can you get through?
We should make like a
together?
playlist of games that's like, oh, you think your marriage is so great? Oh, you think your relationship's so great? Play these 5 games.
Is this like a version of the Vogue quiz? Like, is he really into you? Can he make it through level 4 on Portal?
Yeah, you have to be worried about any of those though, because it comes to the end and it's like, here's some sex tips. Just take it and twist it. They like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you go,
Put ice down the pee hole. Everybody loves that. It's suddenly get really bright. Like,
I know, the
like
sun
God
came
is
up.
coming out to me to be like, don't talk about pee holes.
We were enlightened. That's the rays of enlightenment.
that was Cosmopolitan.
This is how you know you had a good idea. The sun comes up.
God loves pee holes. This is like just comes right on.
Anyway, so Battlefront.
Battlefront.
Battlefront 3. So basically they...
But is it Battlefront 3 or is it just like a new Battlefront and we pretend there were no Battlefronts before? Because all I've seen is the only marketing I've seen all just says Battlefront.
I mean, everyone's going to refer to it as such. So we might as well just go forward with Battlefront 3.
Okay.
But basically, I think a lot of people's feeling is that it really hit a high note on Battlefront 2. There were space battles. There were lots of different maps. There were 64-player servers. There were a plethora of playable vehicles. And they've already released stats that it stepped down to 40-player max for this game. There's only 4 planets you'll play on, but that's not necessarily a number of maps. At this point, if I've already missed it, then it's like...
No,
It's
no,
no
no,
longer
that's
accurate.
like bonus time.
Okay. That's overtime.
Right. Besides, if you don't, people are just going to go crazy.
It's not even in the shot.
Just shake it a lot now.
Oh, you're gonna break it.
No, we're good. We're good. I'm just going to do this for the rest of the
With it
time.
now.
This looks great on the other shot where you can't see my hand. It's like, there's somebody right over there. He's having a good time.
You're having a good well, if you're doing it for an hour, you're not doing it right.
And very sorry to the audio listeners.
And then they've stepped down seamlessly right back into the... They've stepped down from, I think it was like 30 vehicles to 10.
I also heard, and so back when it was announced, they'd also said something about space to land battles, and now that's not a thing?
Well, there was space battles in Battlefront 2.
Right. I mean, in this one, I thought someone had said that, you know what it was? I think it was a leak.
Probably
It was a leak
speculation
that,
more,
that,
yeah.
that is maybe not so credible. There's a dog.
Now there is a dog.
Dog.
That's another sign when
Going
you have a great
nuts.
idea.
Yeah,
The dog
yeah,
starts
just starts
barking.
barking.
But did it flip over again? God, time is not working out
Time's
for me.
not on your side.
Okay. No. All right, we're good. No, we're good. I think, I don't know. I kind of want to take some of this with a grain of salt because, as you said, though, it's sort of like starting over. They're really on a totally new engine. It's a totally new platform. People, I think, have sort of a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to EA taking over titles because that doesn't always go the best direction. Dungeon Keeper. But I mean, DICE tends to make a pretty good game usually.
Except for that last one they made.
Yeah. Well, it got better,
Sure.
sort of. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's still a pretty valid concern. The last, but I'm not 100% sure with this one if it's going to span the time frames like the last one did. I don't know if that's. I'm sure that's been announced and I just missed it.
Yeah.
but-
Well, there was So remember, there was not all that long ago. There was a pretty big leak. Although it was of course always up in the air how credible that leak was, because it was a lot of information. It said space to land battles. It said that there would be very little prequel content. It would take place mostly during the original trilogy, but then there would be some content leading up to the new trilogy, but not so much that they can't make standalone games, filling in that time period.
Which some of the reduction in vehicles is probably directly attributed to that, because the Battlefront 2 spanned both the Civil War era and the Clone Wars. So you had all the Clone Wars vehicles, and then you had the entirely different set of vehicles that was the Galactic Civil War.
Yeah, this
So-
says it's the article that I pulled up said it's set during the original trilogy, and that it'll be on Hoth, Tatooine, and other planets, including the newly introduced desert planet Jakku.
Yeah, I think they said it's 4 planets max, so that's probably most
I got
of the
3
list.
of those there.
But that doesn't necessarily mean there's only going to be 4 maps. There'll be
Right.
several maps on each planet.
Right.
I think just, again, Battlefront 2 spanned a lot more of the original canon planets. There was Hoth, there was Dagobah, there was Kashyyyk. I mean, it pretty much covered every planet except for Bespin. We were looking at that
Have
today.
there been any games set in the planet, the one where like they measure, like they have names or something for different levels based on when they last saw the sun?
Based on when
I think that 13.
Pitch Black?
No, there's some planet. I'm not a huge Star Wars lore buff, but I think 1313 was gonna take place partially on that planet where like the buildings are so tall that the ground levels actually.
Coruscant?
Coruscant?
Well, that's the
Is that
that's
the
the
one where
planet
there's,
that is 100% city. Just the entire surface
Okay.
of the planet is a city.
Okay.
Coruscant did appear in Battlefront 2.
Hold on, maybe
I don't believe it's in this
maybe
one.
Twitter will tell us, because I'll check again in a second.
Blaine's over there dying that he can't be.
Blaine, what is
See
it?
if I'm gonna add somebody in.
What's the planet where there's like they measure time based on when they last saw the sun? No?
If he doesn't know, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah. God damn it.
He thinks
He thinks it's Dresden Files. He thinks you put your,
know what?
your
I would-
consciousness into somebody else.
I would love it if it was Dresden Files, because that would mean there would be Dresden Files
Did you
games.
read the Dresden Files books?
Of course I
Yeah,
read the
those are
Dresden
what she
Files
talks
books.
about all
I
the
have
time.
to.
Yeah. Oh my god. We did it.
So excited.
Can't wait for the next one.
It's gonna be the best.
That one had a TV show, but it didn't run past like 13 episodes. Was
No,
it
yeah,
less?
it was like one season,
Yeah.
which is tragic, but I get it.
I don't know if that would translate well to a game anyway.
Really? I mean, it could make I could see it almost as like an action puzzle game.
A Telltale game would be amazing for
Yeah.
Dresden Files.
Yeah.
I think they could do it because it lends itself more to that kind of graphic novel sort of.
Yeah, because a lot of it's
storytelling.
that sort of that you need that internal monologue,
Gumshoe.
noir gumshoeness.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's a series by it's
Jim
a
Butcher.
urban fantasy, I guess is the way I'd have to classify it. Is
Yeah.
by Jim Butcher. I think of it as like Harry Potter grew up and got a job as a sleuth. It's like is the best way I can describe it, because he's a wizard. He's a professional wizard for hire. And goes through and does defeating demons and fighting stuff, and like all the spell names are ridiculous and don't mean anything because they just have to be a word. Everything's really fun.
It's a great series.
Banging
It starts
vampires.
really slow. I know this isn't gaming related per se, but we wish it was.
Right. If we could, we're gonna come up with a game format for it, and that's gonna
This
gonna
is our
work.
pitch.
I just really like that Ashley. I want to picture Ashley in the meme and be like, oh, he's a wizard, feist up. Like, pew, 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 and he got his fire, got
Spells.
demons. Oh.
And he wears a trench coat.
Let's make this a book club. We should just have book club instead of game
Just
club.
Game
like
book
game
club?
club was
Game
fun
book
for a
club.
while,
Look,
but now
we're
we have
working
book
it in
club.
there.
Yeah,
We're
well,
bringing the game into the book.
I did call it
Book
that
into the game
recently.
book club.
The
Something.
game
The
book club.
catch. I call it the Patch Video Game Book Club.
Speaking of the game club, I am to ask you about your experience with Katawa Shoujo.
Yes.
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So
Since you were not here for the.
yeah. So I started off by streaming it, and everyone said that I have to take Lily's path. So I've actually got a specific save file that I'm
At the branch point.
I don't think I'm to the branch point on that yet. We've had tea.
Well, yeah, that's.
But it's still
But
pretty
you
early
haven't
on in
chosen
that.
between her and the
And
girl with the blue hair.
Hanoko.
Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna mess
there's
They're the
so
ones where
there's
they like fight, right?
that's
yeah,
the
she's.
major
I like that
branch,
she's like an
yeah.
enemy with like the blind girl and the deaf girl are like in a rumble.
Yeah.
But it's like which is weird because in some ways it actually makes sense because they have very little way of
They have no way of
interpreting each other.
communicating.
Like
No
they can't
crossover
communicate.
experience, yeah.
So they can only communicate through other people. So it's almost weird that they have an enmity. I don't
Seeing
get
as how
it,
they've never
but-
directly spoken, really.
Yeah,
Right.
they never, like, directly communicated.
Yeah, so that's the path I'm going down with that one. But then I started a separate one to take with me on vacation because I figured that this little laptop can run it. It can't.
Really?
This laptop. This is like a writing
can't?
laptop. This can barely run anything. It stutters a lot. It tries really hard. It really does. But I just need a different laptop for it. So I didn't get to play it as much as I was hoping on vacation. But for my other not streaming one, I'm actually going with Emmy.
Everyone's going for Emmy.
Well, here's why.
She's the best.
Is because everyone on the stream I was asking what the different girls were like, and they're saying that she works with you to improve your fitness and help you become overcome your own infirmity. And I was like, that's really nice. She helps make you a better you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go with it. Oh, and also I heard she gets freaky.
Oh, really? See, we missed. Apparently, you can have a 3-way.
What?
I missed
Oh,
that.
is this
Yeah.
Misha?
No, with
What?
with Hanako and her interpreter. Like, remember we were talking
No,
about?
yeah. So
Misha-
Misha and
it was
Misha's the
Misha, but
interpreter.
Misha's called something else in the actual game.
she's called Misha in the game. The girl with
Yeah.
the pink hair.
Sheena's her real name, but Misha's what they call her in
Yeah.
the game, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you can get with her both of them at the same time apparently. So I'm really bummed that I didn't take their
Really?
path.
At the behest of because we got a lot of people were very upset with the last game club because we didn't get as far into it as they would have liked.
For freaking effort.
It is a long, long game, and at the behest of all those people, I actually did follow one path. I went down Emmy's path, but it's funny because at the end of the game club, we kind of made a joke about, we didn't get to the sex stuff, blah blah blah. I went into that whole thing. I mean, I know there's a not safe for work kind of warning on the beginning, not really expecting there to be sex stuff. It's just there'll be a little bit, but it's not big. So yeah, I played down Emmy's path, and at one point, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, your legs don't feel good. And she's like, all right, time to mount up. And she just throws her leg over you and rips her shirt off.
Oh.
Well, okay, that's a little
Do you
bit.
get anime boobies?
There's definitely anime boobies.
right.
And that was the thing. It was like everybody got really up in arms about the joke. And it's like, well, we were just kidding. I mean, I didn't really think it was going to be a sex simulator. And then the game was way more sex than I thought it was going to be. She takes you to the athletic locker and is like, hey, I hear this is a great place to try anal.
Really?
Seriously.
Did she really say that?
Oh, yeah. She's got the lube.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, and it's
can see-
interspersed with a lot of.
I can see why there's now a setting to turn that
Yeah.
stuff off for streams.
So I was
amazing.
I was really not prepared for it. It's like and that's maybe where some of the defensiveness over that joke came from, is because that is really a part of the
really-
game. Like there's
No.
some serious sexual
Definitely.
content.
Well, and I felt like we were making jokes about it because it did take so long and I felt like there was so much reading. But after the Patch Game Club, I was like, I kind of want to see if I can get Emmy's hot ending. And now I really want to see if I can get Emmy's hot ending.
There's some hot. I mean,
Somebody's going to get a hot ending.
Visual novels as a genre are tough because it is what it says it is. It's a visual novel. It's presented as a game. So going into something like that, it's really easy to go to, where's the gameplay? But it's not that. And honestly, it's probably not, will never be my main genre of choice, similar to comics, because I am a reader.
Mm-hmm.
I read shit. I went through all of the Dresden Files books. There's like 15 of them, and I went through them in about 3 weeks.
I believe those are quick
They're-
reads too,
Yeah, they're quick reads,
but
which
very
is like
good,
that.
very compelling.
I can sit down and I can read for 10 hours and then be like, all right, next book in the trilogy.
Yeah.
Or they keep turning out to not be trilogies, by the way. They're like really long series that aren't ever finished. But so it's like there's a lot of reading, but it's almost like there's not enough reading. There's either too much reading or not enough reading.
Right.
For,
like it doesn't,
for
it
where
just
I
straddles
tend
like a
to.
strange line. I totally get that.
And it's
And
very
apparently
hard.
sometimes it straddles you too.
It does.
Do you know
It's
what
very
gets
hard
me
to-
about sex scenes in these games is I actually get hung up on like someone had to draw that. I get hung up on the like dog buttholes and Nintendogs, all that sort of stuff. I'm like, someone spent time making
That's
that.
someone's art degree at work.
Yeah, I wonder if they're like drawing like, is this labia too big? Somebody want to look at it? Is this good labia?
That sphincter, good. Less wrinkles.
Yeah. That said, sorry, go on.
No, I had a question. Does the art change? Because I feel like when we're talking to everybody, they have like pretty static. So if she rips her shirt off, does she keep moving, or is it just her shirt off for a while?
In that particular shot, she's straddled you on the bed, clothed, and then it's one of those things where it's just like the same pose and everything, and the shirt is gone.
Okay, because there's not like a lot of movement animations.
No,
It's
and there
lot
is
of
actually
very
a few.
static.
There's a couple times when it actually has more of a fully animated thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's got a lot of good notes to it, but it really suffers, I think, heavily from a lack of editing. It's like if you were to read a book that was 400 pages longer than it should have been. That's what I felt like when I got to the end of that. There was so many scenes in it that were just wasted. Just there were characters in it. It's
Slice
like
of life. Yeah.
I get what you're doing, like Yuko and Kenji. It's like, okay, I see that
Dude,
there's
Kenji's crazy.
he is, but he's just
Oh
wasting
yeah,
my
he's
time.
crazy and really annoying. I was like, I get the
Yeah.
point you're making, game.
And
He's the internet. I
At
get
some
it.
point, I'm tempted to like just make a separate save and then dive off to the Kenji part because he apparently like throws you off a roof and turns you into an anti-feminist robot. Is that?
I don't.
mean,
There's not a
I
lot of
know he-
options around
Cole
Kenji.
was
You
talking
can say
about
like
him
two
throwing
things
No,
you
I
off
think
the
he's
dormitory
I think
roof.
he's the failure.
if you fail
Like
everything.
if you
Mm-hmm.
if like
don't
you
die?
strike out everywhere. No, you do die because he throws you off
Oh,
the roof.
Right.
But I'm not sure if that's like the only Kenji ending. That's the one I've heard about. It's crazy. But, come on, the dude. I can see why he's there.
He's a bit on
He
edge.
seems a little unbalanced.
Yeah, he's a little strange. And also so talky. And then he asked me for money, and I just wasn't very into him.
while naked, and
It was all very strange.
he's less naked than anybody else you'll see in the game.
You know what I do like about the game is I do like the way it tackles, like physical disabilities and all that stuff. There's one point, in fact, it's pretty early on. It's Act 1 where you're talking to the teacher and he's like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, it feels like rude to say something about it, but then it feels really weird to ignore it, and I don't know really what to do. And the teacher's like, well, it's only a thing if you make it a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
is
was like,
true.
And he actually goes in and says, like, all these kids are just kids.
I'm going to assume
They're
too
just
that
kids at school trying to,
yeah
do their thing.
that most of the paths follow very much with what Emmy did, which is eventually you kind of have to confront directly their particular disability and the kind of changes it has wrought in their life, and what led to that disability. So I imagine that there's, for every one of those paths, you end up learning a little bit about someone dealing with that sort of thing.
Do you get sex in all the endings except for the bad
I'm
one,
pretty
or do you have to get the good ending to have sex?
There was
with
sex
them?
before the ending.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's like
It's
before it
not
even
the-
branches
yeah.
to the end.
Yeah, no, I went down the Emmy path, I think sex was inevitable. I don't know that I could have messed it up at
I'm
that point because there's
genuinely
not that many
figured
branches.
It seems like there aren't, but I heard eventually that there was like some sort of flow chart.
There is a flow
So
chart.
I googled it and I looked
Yeah,
at
we
it for
had
about
it.
10 seconds and went, oh
It's
my
a pretty
God,
big
it's like
launch.
this.
But
There's
there's-
arrows going like all
Lengthy.
this.
There are,
and,
but there's a
like,
lot of branches that do nothing. I mean, there's
Oh.
several times it'll have a decision branch and both the bubbles are empty. And then it continues. So nothing is affected other
Okay.
than what text you get.
Yeah.
Okay,
Your life progresses.
I think
the
it
same.
branches out a lot more later on, but you're probably right that like whichever branch you're on, like you don't get all of those choices. Just
It really doesn't. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, once
yeah.
you pick a girl, you're on that
Yeah,
girl's
that
path.
you
There's no
can't
jumping ship.
switch. Like
Okay.
once you choose between Lily and when Misha asks you, and they go head to head. If you choose Lily, you can never have either of those two girls. Like,
Okay.
and that
You're done.
choice is really early on. Like
that's still Act 1 though, right?
yeah, it's still in Act 1, but it's like a pretty big choice at that point.
Some of the like it seems like it's much like very front weighted as far as the acts go. Like Act 1
It
is
is.
really
Act
long.
1 is very long. The other acts are not short either, though.
Yeah.
I will throw that out there.
Yeah, we'll see. I've still got a lot more of it to play.
Yes, you
I'm enjoying it, but it might be one of those games that I take my time with a little bit because, again, either too much reading, not enough reading. But that's what it's a lot more mature than I expected from something coming out of 4chan.
Yep. Yup.
So like that's really cool.
All right, I'm going to read this real quick. If you listen to the show, you've heard me talk about DollarShaveClub.com. They deliver amazing razors for a few bucks. The first time I heard about the club, I was skeptical. I didn't think a razor that costs a few bucks could deliver a great shave. It seemed too good a value to be true. But then I tried them, and I got the most amazing shave I've had in years. See, down here, I do shave. People are like, he's got a beard. Like, no, but all this.
But what he doesn't have is a neck beard.
What's that?
But what you don't have is a neck beard.
It's true. My skin felt like silk. And if you're using those bags of plastic disposables, you know, the ones that people steal from the gym, stop. DollarShaveClub.com razors cost less than those flimsy plastic things, and the shave doesn't even compare. I can't have a bunch of nicks and cuts on my face. I'm on video for work a lot, sometimes more than I'd like. And it needs a high-quality razor. Don't be fooled by the affordable price. These razors are legit, and you will never go back. Plus, they've got Dr. Carver's shave butter, Meg's favorite. And if you're still using old-fashioned shave foam, you're missing out. Try DollarShaveClub.com/patch today. That's DollarShaveClub.com/patch. So.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking at someone tweeted us a Battlefront comparison chart.
Oh, for features?
Yeah, a featured chart, and I think some of it is I think some of it's like rumored, not confirmed, and all this sort of stuff. But yes, people liked Battlefront 2. This new one, there are a lot of red X's.
Uh-oh.
It's always difficult to tell, like when you see some of these things, like how much of it is, like how much of the data is slanted a little bit for a desired outcome, or based on not confirmed. But there are a lot of red X's next to Battlefront. So it says number of maps: Battlefront 2. 33 maps, 16 planets, 4 DLC maps. New Battlefront, 8 on 4 planets. Number of players, 32 versus now up to 20 versus 20. Oh, great. Somebody found it. That's going to make that a lot easier. No space battles in the new one. New one's not moddable. 5 planned DLC packs, as opposed to Battlefront 2 had 1 pack that had 4 maps and 2 new heroes. No campaign, no galactic conquest, no instant action. Loadouts only with 2 heroes. No confirmed playable vehicles yet. AT-ATs won't be playable, but 5 others have been seen in trailers. AI only in 1 mode. Classic era. There we go.
Yeah, the heroes returning is nice, but the number of heroes being reduced down to 2 is pretty rough. And the lack of any kind of single player. I mean, obviously there's a lot of features not there. What I was starting to say earlier, and I mean, I want to like this game, and this is the trap, because that's what maybe they're banking on by putting this game out in this state. I really want to like it because it's a Star Wars game, it's a Battlefront game. That's a lot of features to not be there, but at the same time, I kind of want to take it with a grain of salt in the sense that while this is the 3rd Battlefront, it's still really the first that this company has made. So you got to start somewhere, and hopefully Battlefront 2 wasn't the same as Battlefront 1. It was definitely an improvement over the original. Hopefully there's room there where, and I hope it's not a room where Battlefront 3 is DLC'd up to an equivalency. Hopefully this is just a good game to get their feet wet into that industry and still deliver a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see so. Although, would you say then that why wouldn't they just make a new franchise?
It may be too much. Well, that's a good point. But you got to trade on the name sometimes when it's like, it's going to be a Battlefront game.
That's true, but Battlefront 2 came out in 2005. So while a lot of people really, really liked it, if the comparison is going to be consistently negative, why not just make a new franchise that doesn't come with that many built-in expectations?
Well, maybe that's why it's, as you said, they're kind of billing it almost like a reboot, where it's the same franchise. It's something you're going to remember, but if they can deliver an experience that's still good.
Right. Like, we'd rather have a solid experience than a bunch of features that they added on to try and live up to this previous installment and that they kind of didn't do as well on. Like, if they'd really focused on one thing and really perfected it, then maybe in the next one they'll have as much. I guess, like you're saying, like, they're not really calling it Battlefront 3, even though everybody else is. Maybe they're looking at it like a reboot. Like, this is their chance to start something small, solid, and then grow from there.
Yeah, and those things are always kind of iterative. You get it, if you switch over to a new engine as well, where a lot of things have to be pared back and then new features added, in subsequent titles. So, double the vehicles, double the fun for the next one. But at the same time, I can see why people would be disappointed. but hopefully the experience will be tight enough to make up for it.
As long as they don't EA it. I mean, that's where this is really going to go, is if they offer 5 more heroes that are DLC for like $5 a piece, people are going to turn on this in a hurry. And I can't blame them. I mean, that's a fundamental part of this game, is the ability to work up to and then play as the hero for a while. And if you're only offering 2 out of the box, and then want to charge more for more maps, more playable heroes, then...
Well, I think they should evolve it. It went really well for Evolve, right? 55 DLC packs for like $10 a piece. Let's just evolve it.
Yeah, why not?
I'd say keep a close eye on what they're doing with Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah?
Because that might indicate where they're going. We already know they're planning a bunch of DLC packs. Maybe it's 1 new hero per... I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, Battlefield Hardline... Boy, it had a real uphill battle just to start with, because everybody was so upset
because it was following 4.
Yeah, it was too close to 4.
And
at least
it was
they felt
also doesn't have any battlefields in it.
Well, no, it does. It's still got a conquest mode. It's still got actually, and then it's got the heist modes and the
urban
modes.
battlefield.
Yeah.
Your streets are now our battlefield.
That's hey, battles come where battles go.
Wait, what?
Yes. Battlefront places.
Touch it.
Yes. That's my profound statement for the day. Battles come where battles go.
My favorite things is when Ryan screws something up and then he doesn't know how to fix it, so it just goes with it.
It's working.
It does.
Yeah,
We
all
fall
right.
for it every time.
Yeah, I heard an interesting thing too. Maybe you guys can fill me in on the details here. They were talking. Someone was getting outraged that the BioWare Star Wars games aren't canon. Is this the past BioWare Star Wars games or the upcoming ones? Because I thought it was determined that pretty much nothing
look at Blaine.
that wasn't. Hi, Blaine.
I heard you breathe in. You want to
got
say
anything?
something?
Blaine's excited.
Yeah. KOTOR
Okay,
is
so
not canon.
Knights of the Old Republic
1
is
and
not
2.
canon. I thought nothing. I thought they had gone through and decanonized everything that wasn't the movies or the TV shows.
Disney pretty much did, I think. Yeah, they came in and said, well, no, we're going to do our own thing with all this stuff. But the stuff like the
Were people just hoping anyway?
well,
I
there
think
was
it was asked at a panel, right, at Celebration. So somebody asked, I'm assuming, hoping, yay, and then was like, and then they said something nice, right? They were like, what they did was fantastic. We're not going to touch that, but it's not canon.
And that's, I mean, really, you kind of have to do that to some degree. Like, there's so much universe built up, especially things like the ones that were closest maybe to actual canon were like the Timothy Zahn books, the Admiral Thrawn and all that stuff. There's so many characters that are almost canon just by being in everything, like Mara Jade. And it's hard to fight uphill against all that and deliver an experience that people are going to be happy with. So you might as well just kind of say, that stuff is amazing. We're going to go forward our own direction. Which even George Lucas has been asked. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Everything they're doing from here on out is off my original script. So
Right.
It'll be creative.
They called it Legacy.
Legacy.
Everything in the extended universe is now Legacy.
They're like, they're not decanon. They're just not canon anymore. They're legacy.
Well, at least they didn't like Marvel Universe. And it's like, well, that's part of Universe 612. This is 616, where we're going to continue forward telling our own story.
Right.
Yes.
But even isn't Marvel's collapsing a whole bunch of universes, right? They're about to, like, this year they're going through like some weird apocalypse scenario where they're killing off a couple of their universes and starting a new one.
When
Wouldn't
are they
surprise
not?
me. Yeah,
I feel like I read that headline once a year. It's
Is
like,
it Thursday again?
Superman is dead, and now Superman rises, and
Yeah, I don't know.
Spider-Man is dead, and Batman is dead, and everybody's back. And
I'd
it's
like to see the flowchart for
DC
that.
and Marvel both do it.
I'm sure that flowchart exists. Too.
Everyone has died and come back 45 times.
Super Ultimate Crisis on Infinite, Non-Infinite Sub-Realities.
Yes.
I think Infinite Crisis is a DC thing.
Infinite, yeah.
Excuse me?
So-
It's all merging together. See, DC got bought by Marvel, and now they're... You didn't know this? Hear about the Star Wars Galaxy idea that almost existed?
What was it?
Well, Galaxies, it had that whole Jedi.
Someone's strangling my boyfriend somewhere.
Okay.
Is that what that sounds like? You can recognize it by sound
Oh,
alone?
yeah,
It's
girl.
she's got a lot of experience.
Hey.
All right, tell us about the Star Wars Galaxies.
Well, there was the Jedi class, and everybody wanted to be a Jedi, and the way you did it was you had to find like a holocron, I think, and then that started your Jedi character. But what they almost did, and this was according to Jason Schreier,
Okay.
An article on Kotaku. Apparently, what almost happened was there was an extra game slot or character slot that was specifically for your Force act. I wish the mics were picking that up.
They'll pick it up a
Here,
little
this
bit.
is what it sounds like.
Well, how'd you know the face?
I did that too. Yes. Meg, I've worked with Gavin for a long time. I know what the face looks like.
I'm in so much trouble after this is over. Okay, what they almost did was.
So they had a dedicated, basically Force-sensitive slot. But anytime, still going. Anytime that you did anything with the Force, which I've actually played a MUD way back when, based on the World of Time, that did something very similar. Anytime you did something with the Force,
Wheel of Time?
yeah, Wheel of Time.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said World of Time, and I was like, that.
World of Time. It's
I
a
was like,
clock-making MMO.
I was just very curious if that was like another thing.
You play Geppetto. He sits in a small room all day and just arranges gears for optimum time clarity.
Didn't you
not-
gonna make puppets?
It's free to play. It's
You
very.
could make clocks.
Go-
He
sorry,
did,
go
yeah.
on. Go on.
Geppetto was a very busy guy. Obviously, you haven't read
Lots of
Fables.
things.
You played a. I'm sorry. You played a MUD with
Yeah,
with
and that was a non sequitur, really. I just threw it in there because it was
Right.
a side note. Anyway, anytime you use your Force-sensitive character and they do anything with the Force, and it gets witnessed, it would generate someone to start coming after you. So you would get progressively harder, basically like bounty hunters, or it'd start with something smaller like a stormtrooper, would come to eliminate the Force-sensitive that had been discovered, working your way up eventually to like Darth Vader, and it was permadeath. So as you have to use your skills in order to be able to level them up. As you slowly worked your way up, if you got witnessed, from then on, someone would be coming after you.
See, do what I did with Morrowind when I wanted to level up my running ability. Just like run into a corner and like put a thing down on the running key and just be like, I'll be back in a few hours.
You think you found like a house where there's just a bunch of people huddled together, like lifting a potted plant up and down, like no spies.
Right. It's like the underground Force house.
The speakeasy for the Force. You got some push? I got some push.
And they spend the whole time just going against each other.
Yeah.
That was
you
a
train.
great idea. I can't believe that something like that hasn't been done though.
There's, from a gameplay perspective, like there's some cool things about it, but also like here are all these amazing abilities that you need to do stuff. By the way, if you do them, we're making the game harder for you.
Yeah.
Like that would be such a delicate balance.
I know, but that's the great part about it. It's like, well, and it's the trade-off of, is it worth it? I mean, do I use the skill? How desperate is my situation?
It's like you're Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and you don't want to use your powers in front of everyone.
Right? It's like I could change the world.
Somebody make that game.
Sabrina the
Somebody
Teenage
make a
Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
How has there
game.
not been one?
I'm sure
There's
there has
gotta
been.
be Google.
We're closing in, and this was another thing I wanted to mention. We're closing in our second Adventure Time game. This one in 3D, and we still haven't a Sabrina the Teenage
There
Witch
is a
game.
Sabrina the Teenage
What?
Witch game. It was on PlayStation.
Oh, I wonder what you did.
I think it's called. Wait, hold on.
Do you play the cat? Just going
Salem?
about your day.
That would be amazing. That would that's like what is it? Catastrophe the sequel.
There you
yeah,
go.
You're a magic cat.
exactly.
So there's Sabrina the Teenage Witch, a Twitch in Time for PlayStation.
Oh, I love
Sabrina the Teenage Witch, a spellbinding CD-ROM adventure game.
CD-ROM Adventure?
Yeah.
Oh, we should see if we can find one of those.
Oh my god, this
I
is
never really watched
amazing.
the show,
We
but
are
this sounds like
totally
it would
gonna
just
play
be
this.
Hold on, a
amazing.
Game Boy Advance game called Sabrina the Teenage Witch Potion Commotion.
My whole life is different right now. It's different.
That's what
And
we're
it's
doing here on the
better.
patch. We're changing lives,
We're
really.
changing lives.
We're broadening horizons.
It's on Amazon.
The CD version?
The
or the Game
Potion
Boy?
Commotion one is on Amazon.
That's like some kind of witch-based cooking mama, right? I mean, how does it work?
I don't know.
I'm smelling upcoming.
Oh, we got a clip showing on the screen.
Oh,
What are you doing? It's like a battle
Wait,
arena.
why am I tiny? Oh, now I'm big. I'm an elephant. And I'm running
a
away
rabbit?
from a
You're a
weird
pink elephant.
mouse.
What is this?
This is someone's Sabrina
Oh,
fever
it's on
This is
your-
dream.
okay.
Sabrina's college
Yeah,
years, the
this looks
LSD
like-
trip.
Okay, you're on a zodiac clock.
Yeah, zodiac clock. Yeah.
And you're a pink elephant being chased by a giant mouse.
Look, Sabrina got
Look, it's-
access
look,
to some really
look, it's
crazy
magic.
dank in the other world or wherever.
It's 420 in the witch world right now.
It's always 420 in the witch world.
It's whatever time you want it to be, I guess.
On the zodiac
What was her
clock.
thing? It wasn't a nose twinkle. How did she make
No,
magic?
you're thinking of
That's a
Samantha
dream of Genie.
from Bewitched.
Yeah,
And I
Bewitched,
dreamed
there we
Genie did this.
That's right.
yeah.
Sabrina
did
just
Sabrina
had
did?
she just had a finger.
Just a finger? That's lame.
And a cat.
Yeah, and once she hurt her finger and she couldn't use it.
She couldn't use any of the other ones. The only bad things come out of this one.
I guess.
Do you think we can get an HD remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I would love it.
I think that'd be a lot of work.
I will start a whole new podcast just to talk about Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Is there any other things from your childhood that you missed out on that you wish you
Just
got a
call
game
it
resurrection?
Amazing Dank in Witch World.
That'd work, right? We could sell it in Denver.
Which one?
Go over well.
I love that.
It seems like there have been games for everything, right? At this point,
Absolutely.
Except for Dresden Files. Yeah, right there.
Also,
Maybe
has
we'll
Okay,
Since I did
someone
it.
suggested basically like a modern era Witcher, like a action spell slinging plus, like hunting down demons and stuff.
So Shadowrun. That's
yeah.
modern
but,
magic.
it is, but I'm thinking more like urban fantasy. Like think about like GTA crossed with Witcher,
GTA crossed with Witcher.
but with like
Oh.
more of you as a bad guy instead of one of the worst human beings on the planet.
Wait, I think there's a Dresden Files RPG from Evil Hat.
For what platform?
I don't know. The Dresden Files roleplay game is a licensed role-playing game based on the Dresden Files.
But
Hold
is
on,
it
we're gonna
tabletop?
back off because that sounds tabletop.
Yeah, I mean, if
And
there's not a
using
keyboard
the Fate
attached,
system,
then I'm
yes,
still interested, but
it
not-
is a
not as
tabletop
interested.
game.
We should do it anyway.
there'll be a video game property based off. If he just writes another 12 books, as soon as they pick it up for a movie, we're good, right? I mean, because that's when you're gonna get a video game, no matter what.
Not necessarily.
No,
They seem-
don't
I
think
think-
so.
Not anymore.
You didn't see the
Not
Schindler's
anymore.
List game, because that's the
Has
thing.
there ever been a 1984 movie? Genuine question.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that there has. There was one I thought was hilarious. What was the one?
Not a 1984 movie.
What?
Big Brother's hilarious. It's called Big Brother in the House.
There was
Oh, there is one.
what was the book about people Fahrenheit 451?
Yeah.
About people not reading anymore.
Well, there was a bunch of banned books, right?
Yeah, it's all. I think like all books were banned, and they had TVs like that went on every screen, and billboards were 50 feet long. By the way, I think that's how long billboards really are now. It's like just like mind numbing and all this stuff. Nobody does anything anymore, and they made a movie out of it, so you don't have to read it.
I'll wait for the thug notes.
Love it. There's also a 1984 game apparently that was made in 2012.
I'm waiting for
Me too.
Animal Farm. Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Animal Farm?
There we go, Animal Farm. I was like, I'm going to say Animal Farm, but then I got thinking like Funhouse, and I was like Animal House, and I was like, wait, no, I think that was a movie.
All of the above.
The Animal Farm game be like? You just go around like killing pigs and what is it?
maybe
they kill
it's
the
actually
lamb?
like a
Is it the
farm,
lamb they kill?
like it's a farm management simulator.
Farming Simulator 2017.
Communism on a farm. Animal Farm. Let's talk more about which books we'd like to read.
Well, before that, let me read something real quick. Here we go. Today is a good day to learn something new. Better yet, learn something useful. Go to lynda.com/thepatch right now and sign up for a 10-day free trial on us. You will get unlimited access to over 100,000 courses and tutorials on topics like web development, photography, visual design, and business, as well as software training like Excel, WordPress, and Photoshop. They even have courses on game development. All of their courses are taught by experts, and new courses are added to the site every week. Whether you want to just set new financial goals, find work-life balance, invest in a new hobby, ask your boss for a raise, find a new job, or improve upon your current job skills, lynda.com has something for everyone. Sign up for a free 10-day trial today by visiting lynda.com/thepatch. Some of the courses and videos I recommend for use are various different game design things. I've seen the great Maya tutorials. I used to use those. And then anything, if you're any kind of web developer, they've got great stuff for HTML, CSS, just using Photoshop, all kinds of stuff there. Do something good for yourself today and sign up for a free 10-day trial at lynda.com/thepatch today. That's lynda.com/thepatch. Be sure to use that URL so they know that we sent you. I also like learning. Learning is the best.
We're learning a lot on this patch.
We actually had a lynda.com subscription. I think we still do back there. Helps keep a lot of the animators up to date whenever we're working on
nice.
different things.
That's really cool.
Yes, it was a lot of late nights with lynda.com furiously trying to figure out how to do anything in RVB 10 because it was all at the edge of what we knew how to do. So,
That's good though. I mean, it's always nice to push yourself.
so
Yes.
gaming.
Oh, GTA mods. There was a
Finally
thing
starting to
like,
happen.
okay, so what I understood, and again, all my information being like a week and a half out of date and just sort of catching up, is that so GTA 5 came out on PC and everyone was like, woohoo! And then the modders were like, oh no, we're locked out of a thing. And then everyone was like, oh, we just needed a decryption key, and now everyone's like, we're making mods.
Yeah, that flipped on
that-
it real fast. There was just some initial reaction that said, "Oh, it's going to be so hard to do," blah 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 blah, and then there were a lot of people that responded back to that like, we're good. And they've already been a few mods that have showed up.
Yeah, there was one guy who was like, I will never make a mod for GTA 5. And he had like this really dramatic post about how like they've made it impossible. And again, the Funhouse guys went through and actually were like, it's not actually true. People are actually figuring it out now. It's just going to take them a little bit. And
It was
don't
something
worry
about
it.
the game files being encrypted this time around,
Yeah.
and they needed a decryption key in order to get access to them.
Yeah, I think it was that they were encrypted, or I want to say that his quote said something like, they've done this and they've made it impossible.
Just made a lot of the game assets. I think he felt like they were inaccessible. But
Okay.
obviously that's already been proven false because there's been a superpower mod already created. It's based on a trainer, is what it's called. Let me bring up and I tell you what the guy's name was. But it basically, and I've loaded it up back in the office. You can
So, like, what kind of superpowers do you get?
Well, you can make yourself invulnerable. You have unlimited armor. You can give yourself money. You can have super speed, and like you see on the screen right now, you can kick cars basically through the planet.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
It's pretty awesome. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a real Avengers feel from it. Especially, I can't wait to try it on other things. I've seen a couple of videos where people have tried it on things like planes and it hasn't, and tanks, and it hasn't really worked. But maybe they just weren't hitting it right. So,
Yeah, that might be the kind of thing that gets me into GTA, honestly. It's one
Really?
of those series where I know that, like, I look at the games and I say, this is an amazing game. Like, I can see all this stuff, and I go to play it, and I'm like, no, I'm going to wait at the traffic light. and then I go like, oh, it's, I don't know. I don't really feel like, I don't want to go do this thing because that doesn't seem like a very law-abiding. And so then I just stop.
how do you play any video game ever?
I'm saving the world.
Yeah, but in this one, you're
I
causing
saved the world a
chaos.
lot instead of like, causing maximum damage. I played Red Dead Redemption. I think
Right.
here's a weird thing. I think because like John Marston wasn't exactly like a great
He's kind of a reformed
paragon.
outlaw.
He's a reformed outlaw. I can respect that. Also, had really, really cool scars. But mostly, this is gonna be a weird thing. I think I really like the horses, and I think I also just like it not being modern day.
It's
I
nice
think
to have a little
I like.
escapism.
Yeah, I think I tend to like in my games, either some weird like futurism elements where it's like this is like kind of Deus Ex, like maybe I heard someone say that it's called a Deus Ex.
Never
I've
heard
always
it
heard
said
it
it
called
that way.
Deus
Deus
Ex.
Ex.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I don't know my Latin.
Deus Ex Machina.
But
the original term.
like that where it's there's futurist stuff or give me some dragons. I think I'm an escapist gamer.
I think
so
that
like
a lot of
understandable,
people
yeah.
are that way. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that.
so like in spite of here's the weird thing though is there are elements of escapism in GTA
It's very
because
escapist.
I mean you can walk up to a car and beat someone up and take the car. That's not a thing you can do.
Not yeah.
But I think it's just that the realism is not my thing
Not your
for
cup of
whatever
tea.
reason. So,
There's-
but that being like, by the way, I can kick a car across a city and punch down a building, might put it across the line for me.
There was already, when GTA added first-person mode, it already started to cross a line there where, and now there's mods not only that do that, but will let you play it on the Oculus, which looks really cool. But that's definitely getting to the point where I feel bad interacting with NPCs in a certain way because I don't want to walk up to somebody, first-person mode, and just like punch them in the face and shoot them on the ground. Which in third-person, non-Oculus, yeah, whatever. It's just
Is it just like too immersive for something like that?
It feels like it would be. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe, and it's a whole thing too, where once you try it and you do it a couple times, even just doing first person without Oculus felt that way originally, and then maybe that's a scary statement. Like you get used to.
Not even once.
You know what's funny is like we were talking about like the realism in games. The game that I have found that affects my real life the most is Mario Kart. Like I'll be turning and I'll be like, ooh, I gotta put the brake on. It's a real car. Like if I play a lot of Mario Kart and then I go drive, like I have to be extra careful because I drive like an idiot. I'm like, ooh, yes.
Any
ooh,
racing
nope.
game.
Yep.
I used to be really into PGR. I can't play sim racers because I spend all my time, I can't play sim racers. I spend all my time on guardrails. But arcade racers, I'm like, it'd be great. Put the rockets on it and let's do Burnout. and then I'm like, yes. Still terrible driver. It makes me
Doesn't help.
No, then I get in my actual car and I'm like, no, I can go faster than that car. And I'm like, that's a suggestion. It's really
Well, see, here's
driving
what we need
games
to do.
in general.
We'll combine your desire to be a good law-abiding citizen in GTA with some technology. I've got the Oculus in there. I've actually got the steering wheel with pedals. We'll hook you up GTA 5 PC. You can kind of get like an experience.
You want it just like a safe
Work on
driving
yourself.
simulator.
If someone can make like a safe driving mod where it's like you can do that and that's how you get points taken off your driver's license for speeding tickets or whatever, you have to go through an Oculus mod and obey all the traffic laws.
That is the future. You have just discovered the future of Oculus. I would totally do that as a defensive driving, like, and I have to drive for 6 hours, like, safely through this thing. I would totally do that. Absolutely do that.
No damage to cars. It's
No.
great. Yeah. Actually, I think there was, and I don't know if this was just another game or a joke. Well, it wasn't a joke, but it was a forklift training simulator using Oculus, where they had a wheel set up, and then that's great because those
That's
things
awesome.
you'll destroy a world with a forklift.
I've seen a lot of animated GIFs that would back that up.
I've driven one. They
Oh, really?
didn't break anything.
You've driven forklifts or forklift simulators?
Forklift.
Okay.
Actual forklift. Also, the jacks. They have powered version of the jacks. I did put one of those through a wall.
Really?
Just a little.
Oh,
It happens.
just enough.
Look, so it's the tongs stick through the pallet a little bit, maybe 6 inches. Drywall not sufficient to stop a powered.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
You sent your dongs through the drywall?
Yeah.
I did.
Just 6 inches,
Just
though.
the tip.
That's just enough.
Just the tip. Whatever wasn't in the pallet
We're
went into the
adults.
wall.
This has been a great patch. This has been a good one.
But yeah, no. That was the other thing that
Flight simulators?
Flight simulator's good.
Oh my god, my
Well, those
grandfather was
are-
obsessed with those things.
I mean, there already exists flight simulators that are, instead of just Oculus, it's the entire cockpit.
Yeah.
Especially whenever they have one of those air disasters, they always send one reporter over to like the National Air Disaster Center, and they put him in the cockpit, and he spends 4 years simulating the crash.
Well,
Well,
that's
no,
like-
they just get him doing B-roll of that. In fact,
Yeah.
he never managed to take off.
Actually,
Exactly.
usually
Because
there's
those flight simulators.
They're really incredibly difficult. There's one at NASA. I remember as a kid, they'd be like, land your little module thing, and I would crash every time. My grandfather was a pilot, and so he had he always had like the new joysticks and the new cool stuff with planes, and I would always, it'd say crunch whenever you would crash. I would always crunch. Crunch.
Someone on Twitter, that is at SamLeF, says they live in England and their friend started driving on the wrong side of the road during a lesson because of GTA 5.
Is there? I guess there's not a UK mode for that, huh? I wonder if they'll have the opposite if they ever do a GTA in like London. I don't know why they haven't.
There is a GTA in London.
Is it a smaller platform?
It's older generation. It might have been an add-on to another one. Let me look it up. There has been though.
I mean, 1 and 2 were both top down, so that doesn't really count. 3 was Vice City. Well, actually, sorry, 3 was in the New York equivalent, and then then Vice City, which was based on 3, was in Vice City, which is Miami-ish.
Okay.
And there was Chinatown
This may be
Wars.
something completely different, but it looks like the Grand Theft Auto Mission Pack number 2 was London 1961.
Grand Theft Auto, like 1, that was kind of a top down, so it probably doesn't count.
Yeah.
Doesn't count. I don't think you're going to misdrive on the wrong side of the road by top-down experience.
Okay, well, unfortunately, Dan Houser said that GTA London's unlikely.
Oh,
That was a while ago, though.
Come on.
That was in 2013. A lot of things change.
I guess it is much harder.
With petitions on change.org, which always have an impact.
The White House has to respond to GTA in London.
You know what I always wonder is they always have those petitions, right? Like, do this, get this put in this, like, change this, bring back this. And they're like, get to 100,000 signatures.
Didn't they have to up that, by the way?
Well, no, it just doesn't, like, that doesn't mean anything, right? That's how many you're trying to get, but it's not like that's going to happen if that many signatures.
Well, what they happened was there was a threshold that was if you get X number of signatures, someone has to respond.
Right, the White House had to
Yeah.
respond
Okay.
to the petition.
And it turned out that
And
was
they-
way too low. So
Yeah,
they
And,
doubled
and what,
it.
they just go, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
they'll
much.
be like, usually they'll be like, oh, thank you for your interest, and also that's important to us, and we're reviewing it.
Okay.
I can understand why you would feel like that would be important. It's not, but I can
But I can
understand.
understand that.
I'm always interested by that threshold. Like, we're trying to get X many signatures, and I'm like, that doesn't mean it's happening.
just
and
wanna
everyone
be
who,
heard,
But everyone who
okay?
signs it thinks that if they can just cross that mark, then they all get it.
I think
Right?
largely no. I think a lot of them just want someone to have to respond to it. I mean, that's the internet, right? They don't necessarily care what the answer is. They just want to make you have to respond to it.
I think they just want what they want.
That too. I mean, there's a lot of people that just want what they want.
they're
But I
like,
don't think the crossover between people who actually thought that a change.org thing was going to bring you GTA London.
And
This
hey,
is a Venn diagram that I'm doing with my hands.
by the way,
It's-
we're not going to pay for it, but you got to do it.
yeah.
Is how that always goes.
Like maybe if Obama's on board, they'll do a GTA London.
Hey, guess what? If Obama were on board, I bet they'd do a GTA.
That's
You're
you can't-
laughing, but I bet if Obama was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, they'd be like, we're on it.
It's hard to ask for better PR than the president of the United States calling out for a game.
Heck yeah.
Maybe not GTA though. Being like,
I don't know that he would do that really
Right.
ever. Yeah.
Do your best Obama voice, because you were about to, and I was excited for it.
it was actually going to be probably more like an internet voice. Hold on,
okay.
let me. We the people. That's
We
part
the
that I
people. Remember that time?
You didn't go for a salsa, Malia. You didn't go for that. You just went for we the people.
I tried
God, 7 years ago.
I tried to think of the most presidential possible thing to say.
All right. That's a good one. It's up there.
Official documents when you're the president. How could you not?
The undersigned. will-
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Patch.
Oh man.
Absolutely nailed it. Yep. Oh yeah.
I'm all-
Teary.
No.
Now with
we're
100% more constitution.
and I'm about to get way more teary too because we're going to talk about we're talking about brothers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, on
Let's
the,
get that out of the way already.
we have
Yeah.
the game club coming up right after this.
Yeah.
It got hard. Now it's transitioned into
now she
sad
thought
tears.
about it. Her brain
No,
went
I'm
there and
o-
it went sad.
I'm okay. We the people.
Hashtag we the people. That's the new patch hashtag. It's not even the patch anymore.
What's the ultimate mod you want to see for GTA?
Well, what I really would love to see, and what it's going to be probably a lot longer before we see, if ever, will be mods for the online. I still am pretty dubious about the chances of us getting anything since that's such a closed system. It's all server based.
I assumed that actually like when I heard that the game files were encrypted and that they weren't moddable, my first assumption was that it was because online and the core games share so much that they were just I assumed they were locking them away to keep online secure, I guess.
I think most of the things that you would mess with would probably still be server based. So a lot of the environment variables, things like that. Adding new cars, I don't think you can just shoehorn a new car into a server that you don't control like that. Maybe. I mean, the thing that kind of gives me some hope is obviously the PS4 version and I think the PS3 both. There have been a lot of unlocked vehicles that have slipped into GTA Online from modded game types or just doing certain things like the giant cargo plane from one of Trevor's missions. So I'd love to see some of that. There's so many things that we could do with that sort of vehicle in a video. That'd be a lot of fun.
You mean like if they allowed mods on like private servers?
Well, there are no private servers
Right.
really, which is kind of the sticking point. I mean, that was one of the things that we really missed going into GTA 5 versus GTA 4 was you could create a private server in 4. And even then, multiplayer mods for GTA 4 PC were much smaller number of them. There were a few, but it was really rare. Almost everything was a single-player experience. So I don't know that that's going to change much from what it was like in GTA 4. You can still have a lot of fun in single-player with mods. Just like Skyrim. I mean, that's an entirely single-player experience, and that has had a huge modding community for years.
You know what I always wished was better was, what was it? Was it Two Worlds? They basically built it as Skyrim with co-op.
Yeah.
And then it came out and it was not
I never
quite
played it.
there. I
Everyone's...
think they ended up making a sequel, even like Two Worlds 2.
Beyond Two Worlds.
Worlds. TO.
But yeah, it never, like, I was really excited for it because I was like, I always wished I could play, you know, Elder Scrolls in general, actually, with, you know, that sort of open world RPG, like, with other people. Or specifically because the MMO thing is meh. Just with somebody, just co-op. We'll never get that.
That's the mod you want to see for GTA. Turn it into
Turn it into Skyrim
with co-op.
Right.
Right.
That is
So
how
it
we
just
I
take-
bet you, I guarantee you, you'll see someone riding a dragon in GTA before the run of mods is done in that.
and just change all the cars into horses.
Yeah.
Change all the buildings into castles.
Okay.
And or
Don't
and
see
or
much castle
and or
villages.
shops.
Yeah, just
There
the
you go.
villages of
You can have
Castle.
some, you can have some shops too. It's fine. Add in some shops. There's lots of those. And change all the helicopters into dragons and
Done.
planes.
Well, since we've just designed the perfect GTA mod, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up.
All right. We'll be back in a few minutes with Game Club for those watching the live stream. This is a pre-recorded episode of Game Club because we wanted Bernie on, and he is at this moment doing a talk at UT.
Texas State.
Texas State. He's doing
Different than UT.
So someone just tweeted
Very
us.
sensitive
Oh,
about
sorry.
that.
Well, no, it's because he's actually doing two. So there's one at, I guess, Texas State today, and then I think he's doing one at UT tomorrow.
What?
So.
He's cheating on Texas State?
He's cheating. It's okay.
Oh.
We don't. We don't
look,
care.
look, they're not going steady. They're just
Okay.
We're just like, it's like if we're at a party together, it's like, okay, cool. Like, we don't
Still
have
early,
anybody
man.
else. But it's like, we have somebody, then you have somebody.
yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us.
With
Tune
that-
in Monday for our regular RT podcast and next Wednesday for the patch. Bye.
Bye.